His name is Coty. Coty. Girl, his name is Colt. Colt, not Coty. There is no E in that man's name. In case y'all wonder what I'm talking about. I'm here to talk about 90 Day Fiancé. And this one is the Happily Ever After. If any of you guys are watching this today, you do realize that 90 Day Fiancé has so many series. I love them, but it's getting a little bit out of hand. I mean, we got 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way. You got 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After. Where are they at now? Before the 90 days. Just a regular 90 Day Fiancé. We got the quarantine. We got the pillow talk. It's getting a little bit excessive. I'm gonna need them to pull back a little bit. It you know, when they started spinning off like that, it becomes a lot to keep up with. So me saying that is a little bit why I am late on doing this review, because I couldn't keep up with what was new and what was old and what was the reruns, and it was just all of, because they just be back to back to back to back. I think right now that the 90 Days The Other Way is also airing at the same time as this Happily Ever After. And then they have a B90 right now going on too. They be having all these little specials going on. I will not be reviewing the little specials that are going on. I don't want to do the 90 Days The Other Way. I watch it, but I don't plan to review it. But I am going to do I will be doing the 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After. Yeah, I will be doing that one. So, I am going to start with episode number 2 of this season. I did watch the first episode. I just don't want to go back and review it. I just don't want to go back, you guys. So, I'm just going to jump into this. If you've watched any of my other reviews on shows that are made up like this, I just talk about each person because these couples are not intertwined in any kind of way. So I'll just start with the first couple that, like I was talking about, Coty. So Mr. Coates and his new Brazilian girlfriend, Jess. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't see this working. I do not see this relationship working. It's not gonna work. So Colt done moved on from Larissa. They are now divorced, and he has got him a new Brazilian woman that he will not tell his mommy about, cause he know that she not having that. Cause remember, he stays with his mother that he takes care of. Ladies, how many people don't heard that line from a man? My mama stay with me. I take care of her. Whose name is the house in? That's whose house it is. So, last week, Colt went to Chicago to see Jess. And they had dinner and they had, conversation came about having sex. So, Colt done got him a little cooch. Great! Colt creeps me out sometimes. I'm just gonna say that. But Jess is pushing him to tell his mom about her. Because, I mean, if your relationship, well, I'm not going to even say that, because I know people that meet people and they don't know them but a day and they have sex. That doesn't mean they're in a relationship. But I will say, in this sense, I mean, I guess you guys have been talking long enough and now you're at the place where you've been physical. So I feel that, yes, you should, if you've gotten to that point, you're comfortable enough to do that, then you should tell your mother. I understand his hesitation and all this, that, and the third, but you need to grow up and stand up on your own too and tell your mother, listen, Mom, I understand your hesitations and your issues, etc., etc., but this is what I've chosen to do. I've met a wonderful woman. I'm getting to know her. I will be more mindful of I've learned from my mistakes, if you really learned, and I'm going to actively pursue this relationship and just leave it at that. Now, while they were talking, Colt asked Jess, have you dated any other American men? This is the reason why I have issues with Colt. Like, he seems very insecure. He seems very controlling in a sense. And when she said, yes, she has, she said she dated about 6 or 7 guys in the last 6 months. If I was him, I would have probably been like, oh, okay, that's okay. I would have left. Because that means you dated approximately one person every month. And if we just had sex, I don't remember how long they said they dated, but I know it hasn't been that long. Like, and I think he did mention that, like, well, how quickly were you moving with them as far as the physicalness? You probably want to, yeah. So she asked him about Larissa and their relationship and what happened and, why did it not work? And he told her the truth as far as she was violent. She was arrested for domestic violence and just thought that was crazy. She was like, that's just crazy that somebody would hit you. Like, that's crazy. And he was like, yeah, well, that's what happened. But, I moved on from that, and I'm glad that that is over with. And I'm just looking forward to moving forward with you. Great. Let's move on then. Now, Jess decides on the last night that Colt's going to be there, that she wants to introduce him to her friends. The friends, they were like, okay, so tell us about you. Tell us about your ex. Why do you live with your mother? How old are you? You're too old to be living with your mother. Who does that? Like, they are really going in on him. So then he said, well, I have a question for you ladies. Is there anything that you can tell me about Jess that I don't know? Anything about her past? Anything like that? Because, I don't know anything about her past because she doesn't really talk about it. And they were like, listen, you don't have no reason to question her with the past that you have. The friends was a little too much too. I understand, having your girl's back and wanting to be there for her and wanting to make sure that she makes the best decision. But you need to scale it back a little bit. Y'all coming off like he don't say something offensive. He just asked you a simple question. You could have just been like, you could have either threw him a bone and just threw him a little, fact, a little fun fact, or you could have just not said anything at all and just been like, no, it's nothing, she's just a really great girl. We love her. She's fun. You could have played it that way, but there was no need for you to really come off like that. So then they started speaking in their native language, so he couldn't understand what they were saying. So he's looking back and forth like, what are you saying? And then next thing you know, Jess says Vanessa. He was like, what about Vanessa? And they was like, who's this Vanessa girl? And apparently Vanessa is a friend that he met at the gym one day, and they're really cool. But the pictures that they were showing, let me tell you something. Listen, my boo note, like, don't let me see you in no pictures with no other woman like that. Y'all at the bar, sipped out of the same drink. Like, come on, that's... No, that's not friendly. So Jess is uncomfortable with this friendship with Vanessa, and rightfully so. It looks suspicious. Now, after they discussed the Vanessa conversation, the comments or whatever, they said, well, what are your plans for the rest of the night? Colt's like, I'm going back to the room. I'm tired. They was like, no, it's a young night. Let's go. We know it's a Brazilian party. Let's go and hang out. Jess was like, yeah, let's go. Colt's like, no, let's just go back to the room. It's my last night here. And they was like, well, Jess wants to go and hang out, so you should do what she wants to do. Don't be an old man. And it turns into this like control thing. It shows his control a little bit again. Cause he's like, Jess, and her friends are like, don't try to control her. Don't tell her what to do. If she wants to go out, she can go out. But Jess is like the one in the middle. So her friends are like, stand up to him. Girl, don't let him tell you what to do. And then you have Colt over here saying, Jess, come back with me. It's like, or else. Like, that was his tone. Come with me or else. So she told her friends, well, he did come to see me, so I am going to go ahead and I'm going to go back with him. But once they got in the car, she let him know, listen, I only did this for you because you did come here to see me. But let this happen again, it won't go that way. This is only happening this one time. I won't let you do that to me again. If it's between you and my friends, I'm going to choose my friends, is essentially what she was saying. She was like, because there needs to be a balance. You're not going to be able to tell me what to do. So, yeah, I don't see that works. That's not going to work out. Now, Paul and Karini. Wasn't a whole lot going on with Paul and Karini this episode. They're moving back to the U.S. He's gotten her set up on a 2-year visa. So he decided that it was best for them to come back to the U.S. because he has the ability to make more money here than over there in Brazil. So they're going to come back with the baby. Now, Paul called his mother to ask her, I'm coming back. You understand the situation. I have to get set up with the job so then I can get us an apartment, et cetera, get us on our feet. Can I stay with you until I'm able to get all of that situated? Mother says, no, I'm not going to let you do that because if I let you come and stay with me, you'll never leave. It's time for you to grow up and be mature and get your stuff together. I totally agree with her because she has gotten to the point where she realizes that her son is who he is and that he's not going to grow up if she doesn't push him out the nest. So she told him, no, you can't stay here. Can't sit here. Kalani and Asuelo. Asuelo has gotten homesick. He was hanging out with his friends and he was telling them that, I'm a little homesick. I want to go back to San Juan. And they were saying, well, you should go back. You should talk to Kalani and let her know that you want to go back. He said the problem with going back is he knows that it's going to cost a lot of money. And that when you do go back, the family expects you to bring some kind of gift. And he's only working part-time. Now, that's 2 issues with him. Kalani does not like that he only works part-time, so it's like you're not bringing in a whole lot of money. And secondly, you spend a whole lot of time with your friends and less time being a father here and helping with the kids. So I need you to step up a little bit more and be a little bit more present here in the household. So they go on a date. She was very excited because she was like, she wanted him to be more present, spend more time. But his idea of a date was to go axe throwing. And she was like, this was not my idea of a romantic date. But okay, I guess we're spending time together. That's all that matters. So while they're out throwing the axes, he lets her know, hey, I want to go back home. She's like, that's a lot of money. And apparently his family calls them asking for money, asking for other material things. And that's the only time they really call. So she's just like, I want to try to get you back home, but I want us to be smart about it. I don't want us to spend our whole life savings on this trip. And then we get back home, we can't pay our bills. And he's just kind of like, with these sleepy eyes, it doesn't matter as long as we can go. Like, we just have to make sure that we can make this trip. And I'm just kind of like, dude, did you hear what your wife said? The wife who's probably making the most of the money. You need to be smart about it. And she felt like, and she said to him, Well, I don't want you to get us out there and then I'm the one taking care of the kids. And you're just running off, with your family and friends or doing whatever you want to do. And he was like, I'm not going to do that. I don't believe it. I believe that he would. I believe he's going to leave her out there. Sinjin and Tanya. They have moved out of the shed and gotten their own apartment, but Tanya had a car accident and she broke her foot, so she's not able to work. Sinjin just got his work visa, so he's now finally able to work, but as of right now, he is out of work. So both of them are out of work, but they have moved out. Make it make sense. So, Sinjin has decided that he was going to try to go get a job at the bar. Tanya's nervous about it because she was like, before when he worked at the bar, he would get drunk at the bar, and that's her concern, that he will be drunk. He'll be drinking more than he's working, apparently. But he does go and interview at the bar, but it doesn't go so well. But that's next week. Now, Michael and Angela. Angela goes to the doctor because now that she's back home, she's really trying to make sure that she's good to go to try to carry this baby for Michael. And now that she started to have her menstrual cycle again, she feels like this is a good sign. Remember, Angela is 54 years old. She hasn't had a menstrual cycle in 2 years. And the doctor told her, because of her age and the fact that she has not had a menstrual cycle, that's not a good sign. It's probably an indication of there's something else going on with her body, which is probably not a good thing. So they do an ultrasound, and she basically told her that she did not show her ovaries, like she could not see them. And they said, once you get to a certain age, the ovaries shrink. And she was like, so you don't see an egg? She was like, no, I don't see that one little egg that the lady was talking about in Nigeria. She didn't see them. She didn't even see her ovaries at all. So, she told her that she wanted her to get some additional testing to make sure that she did not have fibroids or anything else, because she said because it's a possibility that there might be something going on within her uterus that might be uterine cancer developing. And because her mother has had cancer 5 times, that really scared her, because she has a history of cancer in her family. So Angela does go home, and she tells her mother about the doctor's appointment. And her mom, of course, was nervous, but she was like, you gotta do what you have to do to make sure you're okay. Make sure you take care of yourself. And she also lets her mom know, I'm gonna be going to Nigeria to get married. Are you okay with that? Do you give me your blessing? And she was just like, you're 54 years old. I can't stop you. And she said, do you think I can have a baby? And she was like, you 54 years old. So that's the plan for her right at this moment. Now, the last couple that I'm gonna talk about, and the couple that gets on my nerves, I do not like this guy either. Elizabeth and Andreas, whatever. Hi, Andre, that's his name, Andre. So Andre has told the family that they're going to have this wedding in Moldova, and it's like we have a private conversation at home, and then it's like you get pushed into a corner, and so you decide to tell our private conversation to the family to make yourself look better. And it's like, this was not something we discussed that we were ready to tell the family. Now that you don't put this out here, now the family knows that this is something that we had been talking about, even though we hadn't finalized anything. And he not only has decided to tell the family, he is insisting that Elizabeth's father pays for this wedding, because he says in his culture, the father of the bride pays for the wedding. Well, you know what? That's something that they say in American culture too, but that doesn't necessarily happen. So, he, of course, is not going to ask her dad. He told her to do it. I don't like his superior stank attitude. I don't like his entitlement. I don't like his lack of his lack of an urgency to work. I don't like the fact that he feels like he does not need to work, as you know, he doesn't need to provide for his family. He just feels like, well, her family makes, you know, has money, so she can support me. Like entitlement. But he feels entitled at times, but then in the same sense, if you remind him like, well, my family pays for stuff, that's what I don't like about your family. They're always talking about money. You can't pick it. You can't have it both ways. You can't say my family talks about money all the time, but you don't turn any money down no time either. So, Elizabeth does go and she talks to her sisters about it, and she tells her sisters, you know, how are you feeling about the wedding? Are you guys going to be able to come? And they're like, this is really short notice, and I'm really upset that, you know, you put us in this position where we might not be able to come to this wedding, and this is hurtful. That, and they was like, we're not upset with you, we're upset with him because we know this is his doing. And then they was like, and on top of that, he wants dad to pay for it. It's like, of course he wants dad to pay for it. You know, basically it's like, he don't have no money. So Elizabeth does go and talk to her dad, and her dad asks the same questions that, you know, her sisters ask. Like, what are the plans? What are you guys doing? How is this going to be done? And she's like, well, he wants you to pay for it. He's like, of course he wants me to pay for it. He was like, well, why didn't he come ask? And she gets to crying, and he was like, you know, I'm going to pay for your wedding. You know, it's not a question of me paying for it. It's just the fact of, why isn't he man enough to come to me and ask me, seeing that this was his idea? This is the wedding that he's planning in his country. Why didn't he come and have a conversation with me? Now, after her dad agrees to pay for the wedding, she goes home and she tells him, hey, you know, my dad has agreed to pay for the wedding. He's thrilled. Yes! I knew he would. Great. What's our budget? She's like, I think you should go and tell him thank you. You know, since he's going to do this, seeing that you didn't speak to him. He was like, yeah. What's the budget? Because I'm thinking big wedding. I'm thinking $15,000, $14,000, $40,000. And she's like, what? He was like, I need to know how much money we have. I need to know how much money he's giving us so we can plan this big wedding. Don't you want a big wedding? She was like, well, yeah, I want a big wedding, but why is that like the first thing on your mind? Why is the first thing on your mind not a thank you? Like, not once did he say thank you to her. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for asking your dad. Tell your dad I said thank you. Nothing. It was great. What's the check for? I don't know if that is a cultural thing. I don't know. But that don't sit well with me. Someone is doing something for you that you just sprung on them. You didn't give them a lot of notice for, and they're footing the bill for it. And your only concern is how much money I'm getting out of it. You should be trying to make this as affordable as possible for somebody else who's footing the bill. Not, I'm trying to make this as lavish as possible because they're footing the bill. I don't like him. I don't like him. And he continues to do more stuff coming up next week that we'll be talking about in the next video. But on a lighter note, because I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave you guys, angry. I mean, overall, I am happy that new stuff is coming back. I'm happy that I'm able to come back and give you guys content and stuff. I've missed doing this, so it's getting dark. I am going to add a couple of more shows so since I've seen this stuff was on, I decided, I was like, well, let me look and see if there's anything else out here that I'm missing, because the girl apparently was missing some stuff. So as the other shows continue to come on, I will be adding a couple of more. I probably will be doing about 4 shows. So yeah. just be looking for those new videos.